All right, summer is in full swing. The weather is beautiful out today, and we are going to make steak. Perfect day to do some grilling. And I've got here a beautiful slab of ribeye, and this is definitely the best cut. All right, don't let anyone tell you anything else. Filet mignon, yes, it's tender. There's no flavor. New York strip is pretty decent. T-bone's always pretty solid too, but ribeye is where it's at. And if you're looking for ribeye, what you actually really want to do is look for the part that is outside the ribeye. This is called the ribeye cap, and you want that part to be big. That is the super tender part of this cut, and it's super flavorful as well. What we'll do is just give it a good salting. Let this thing get in there. Be generous with the salt. You're generally not gonna over salt this too much. This is a nice thick piece. And once we have it salted, you want to let the steak rest a little bit. You know, if you got it, if you can let it rest overnight in the fridge, great, that's ideal. If you can let it rest for 2 hours, let it rest for 2 hours. If you can let it rest for 10 minutes, let it rest for 10 minutes. If you can't let it rest, you know what, it'll be okay. But the longer you let it rest, up to 24 hours, the better. So here we go, we'll let this sit for a little bit, and then we will get the grill started. What we're going to do today is the reverse sear method, and this is by far the best way to create steak, and anyone can do this. Get a meat thermometer, it'll be super easy. All right, here we are, we're outside and we're ready to go. So I'm heating up my grill right now, and the trick to this is we are going to cook over indirect heat. What I've got here is a smoke tube, and this is completely optional, but this is really, really great because it's gonna give our steak a really, really unique smoky flavor as well while it cooks. Essentially the idea here behind reverse searing is we are going to cook the steak slowly, not over direct heat, but in indirect heat inside this grill at, you know, the grill's gonna be about 250 degrees. We're trying to get that temperature of the steak fully up to the desired doneness. So for our medium rare, we want the final temperature to be about 129 Fahrenheit, which means I'm gonna leave it on here until it reaches a temperature of about 119, and then we're gonna go ahead and finish it off on that cast iron. But right now I've got the grill going. I've got one of my burners over here on this side going. Again, smoke tube, completely optional, but I do recommend it. This is it's like super cheap on Amazon. You put some wood pellets in there, you put it on your grill, you know, you fire it up like this. It's gonna add that nice smokiness, and that smokiness is going to carry over onto our steak. So now my grill is heated up properly. I'm gonna just go ahead and throw it on here. No sizzling or anything like that. I'm gonna close it off. Only one burner is going, not the one that the steak is on. The burner is off to the side. All right, we're gonna let that cook for about 45 minutes. That's when I'm gonna go ahead and check on it with a meat thermometer and see how close I am to that 119 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature, and then we'll show you how to finish the steak. All right, guys, our steak is already looking great. I wish you could smell this because the smokiness is really coming through. But what we're going to do now is we are going to go ahead and finish it on a cast iron skillet. I'm getting this thing piping hot. But on high, it's pretty much there. We're gonna use a high smoke point oil. So in this case, avocado oil. This is recommended. Don't use something like olive oil or anything like that. If you don't have avocado oil, go ahead and use something like peanut oil. That works too, or just canola oil will work as well. Go ahead and throw the stick right in. And that is going. We're gonna give this a really, really good sear here. It's gonna take about 1 minute per side, I would say, is good enough. All right, guys, this is almost done. I've got it really well seared. We're gonna go ahead and turn off the heat here, and we're gonna finish with some butter. I'm gonna baste this. We're gonna throw garlic in there. I'm gonna throw in some rosemary, all right? And we will grab a spoon here. Let this butter melt. Make sure the heat is off at this point. And we're going to go ahead and just take this beautiful flavored butter and just baste. It should be good to go. And does that not look like the best steak you've ever seen? All right, final step. I'm gonna go ahead and move this from our pan onto our cutting board here. Throw our rosemary. And this is the most important part. We don't need plates. We eat directly off the cutting board. To the distress of my wife. Let's see how this is looking. Actually, we can just really cut into it. You actually don't have to let this rest like a normal steak because we got it up to the correct temperature by cooking it slowly over the grill, right? If you've ever heard of sous vide, this is basically the same idea, except for even better results. You're not gonna get that smokiness from sous vide. You're not gonna get the same type of crust from sous vide. So let's cut into this and just see how beautiful our steak is looking. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That is cooked perfectly. And see how tender that is. Do you see how tender this is? Look at those juices coming out of that steak. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. All right, take a look at this. This is beautiful right now. And we are going to finish it with a little bit of salt. We'll do our Salt Bae move here. Boom, Salt Bae. And then some pepper. And pepper. And we are ready to eat. And we don't need plates. I am telling you right now. Take a slice. Oh man. Just falls apart in your mouth. Just melts. Super tender. Almost as tender as my wife. Ah, you gotta come try some of this. So good. Take a piece, take a piece. And we'll get this piece right here. Boom. That smoky flavor really comes through. And it's not like any steak you can get at a restaurant. You won't get this flavor, I promise you.